Jean Smart has just returned to Broadway in the hit play Call Me Izzy, and critics can't stop raving. The New York Times cheers. Jean Smart is an awe-inspiring triumph. Deadline calls it a tour de force performance and a remarkable new play. The audience is dazzled and completely in her hands, says The New Yorker, and The Washington Post adds, Jean Smart is transfixing. Call Me Izzy, the can't-miss Broadway event of the summer, through August 17th only.
On today's Smart 7, France and the UK sign new channel deal, Ukraine struggles under Russian bombardment, and much more. It's Friday 11th of July, it's World Kebab Day, and happy birthday Lil Kim.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Thursday marked the third day of French President Macron's official state visit to the UK, and there was a focus on the thorny issue of cross-channel migration and greater cooperation between the two nations. A working meeting at Downing Street saw commitments to coordinate Britain and France's nuclear deterrence, allowing a joint mobilisation in the event of an attack, along with new cooperation on anti-ship missiles and improved collaboration on things like supercomputers and AI. The most significant item from a political point of view is a new pilot scheme on migration. That will see a one-in, one-out deal to allow people crossing the channel on small boats be returned to France. Prime Minister Keir Starmer says it will help to meet Labour's promise of smashing the smuggling gangs.
The first thing to appreciate is this is groundbreaking. This is a scheme intended to break the model and to make it clear that if you cross in a small boat, then you'll end up where you started.
In exchange for France accepting the return of those illegally crossing, the UK will now accept certain asylum seekers who have passed security checks. French President Macron was pleased with the new deal and not afraid to mention the elephant in the room.
Many people in your country explained that Brexit would make it possible to fight more effectively against illegal immigration, but it's in fact since Brexit that the UK has no migratory agreement with the EU. In fact,
this week has seen Ukraine battered by wave after wave of Russian drone and missile attacks targeting Kyiv, but also targeting cities far from the front lines. With air defense missiles in short supply and America stopping and then restarting arms supplies, it's been very difficult to see any sign of a ceasefire or peace talks. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Donald Trump isn't happy with Russian President Putin, but there's still no sign of US sanctions or any concrete action.
He's disappointed and frustrated that there's not been more flexibility on the Russian side to bring about an end to this conflict. We hope that can change, and we're going to continue to stay involved where we see opportunities to make a difference.
European leaders met in Rome with Ukrainian President Zelensky to discuss plans to rebuild Ukraine, but it's still not clear where the hundreds of billions of euro needed would come from, particularly if the war and sanctions bankrupt Russia. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who survived a no-confidence motion on Thursday, was calling on European nations to move quicker to help Ukraine restock its weapon systems.
Our member states can take their safe loans and procure directly from Ukraine's defense industry. For our member states, it's high quality, fast and cheap. For Ukraine, it's both crucial revenues, but also the opportunity to strengthen its defense industrial base.
The day after Labour's welfare bill finally passed its third reading, Tory leader Kemi Badenoch decided to make her feelings on the UK's welfare system known. She gave a speech laying out Tory plans on welfare, which include introducing a ban on foreign nationals claiming disability and sickness benefits. She was also arguing that those with less severe conditions like anxiety or mild depression should not be signed off work. She's worried that the UK's current benefits bill is just too large, something she described as a ticking time bomb.
We are becoming a welfare state with an economy attached. 28 million people in Britain are now working to pay the wages and benefits of 28 million others. The rider is as big as the horse.
There was no sign of a breakthrough in the Middle East ceasefire talks on Thursday, but an Israeli strike on a medical centre in Gaza killed at least 15 people, including 10 children. Israeli strikes across Gaza killed at least 80 people in total on Thursday, and Israeli troops continued to clear civilians from settlements on the outskirts of Khan Yunis using tanks and bulldozers. While negotiations continue and Hamas have offered concessions, there seems to be little appetite from Israel for any pause in operations. James Elder is UNICEF's global spokesman, and he's just returned returned from his 5th trip to Gaza.
These stories, as harrowing as they are, they're constant. I sat with a nurse who starts her day in a tent, and she's the head nurse in a ICU. I watch her manually do a hand pump of oxygen because they don't have that oxygen.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, a big upset at Wimbledon, and Jason Momoa rides a shark. Right after this.
At 1-800-Flowers.com, we know that connections are at the heart of being human. Whether celebrating life's joys or comforting during tough times, 1-800-Flowers helps you express what words can't. For nearly 50 years, millions have trusted 1-800-Flowers to deliver thoughtful gifts that help create lasting bonds. Because it's more than just a gift. It's your way of showing you care. Visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST and connect today. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
Welcome back. Thursday saw the women's semi-finals at Wimbledon as 2 first-timers came up against 2 of the top seeds. Aryna Sabalenka is the world number 1, but she was beaten by American Amanda Anisimova over 3 sets. It was the second shock defeat for Aryna after she lost to Coco Gauff at Roland Garros. On the other side of the draw, Poland's Iga Swiatek faced Swiss player Belinda Bencic, who is a former Olympic champion. Swiatek made it look easy, though, and was delighted to reach her first Wimbledon final.
Honestly, I never even dreamt that it's going to be possible for me to play in the final. So I'm just super excited and just proud of myself, and I don't know, tennis keeps surprising me.
The Jonas Brothers are celebrating 20 years together as a band, not as brothers. And eldest brother Kevin is particularly grateful that the band got back together after a 6-year hiatus from 2013 to 2019. He made some pretty bad investments with his pop star riches, including a property deal that apparently went south. Fun fact, his name isn't Kevin either, his name is Paul. He told the School of Greatness podcast that things got pretty grim.
You almost lost all your money?
Yeah, most of it, down to the 10% left. Invested in a bunch of property and doing other things, and I was building at the time. And sadly, it just wasn't the right partnership. I learned this lesson. Never wanted to learn it, but I did.
There's a brand new Apple TV Plus show on the way that is co-created, written, exec-produced by and stars Jason Momoa. And in the trailer, you can spot him riding a shark. It's got it all, and it's a fascinating true story that follows legendary Hawaiian warrior Kaiana, who is racing to unite the Hawaiian Islands before Western colonizers arrived in the late 18th century. There are 9 episodes in total, and the first one drops on Apple TV Plus on August 1st.
Tell me of the outside world.
It is strange. The pale skin honors no gods of the land. They will be coming soon. If this island is divided, this kingdom will fall.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Jean Smart has just returned to Broadway in the hit play Call Me Izzy, and critics can't stop raving. The New York Times cheers. Jean Smart is an awe-inspiring triumph. Deadline calls it a tour de force performance and a remarkable new play. The audience is dazzled and completely in her hands, says The New Yorker, and The Washington Post adds, Jean Smart is transfixing. Call Me Izzy, the can't-miss Broadway event of the summer, through August 17th only.